Hey people, time to talk about the first season of Smallville. I didn't really hear about that show while it was airing, but after it finished, I gradually, learned a few more facts about it, and then finally I decided, okay, I've got more than half the show on DVD, time to actually start watching it, because you enjoyed looking at the first couple episodes of it back in the day. Well, I'm really impressed by this product. I mean, like, usually it takes me a while to get into a TV show, figure out all the characters, and figure out stuff that I really like about it, but here I was able to figure out everything just like that. The only real difficulty I had was recognizing that the black kid was Pete Ross, because for whatever reason I always forget that Pete Ross is a major Superman friend, just like, what's my deal? I don't understand. Yeah, but what the show did, providing backstories to Superman characters that we know about, introducing its own original characters, doing an excellent blend of supernatural happenings versus real life situations on like everyone's part. Just this was really interesting, and even though you could tell in some of the action scenes or climaxes of the episode that the show's kind of low budget, it really wasn't that bothering most of the time, because like I do have to remind myself that this is a young Superman that we're talking about here, so it's pretty easy for him to deal with most bad guys, even the supernatural stuff, because like when he tosses the villain of the episode across like the room in the shadow warehouse and then they land her unconscious, normally that would be regarded as a cheap way out, whereas in real life that would actually work pretty well, huh? And even some of those instances where like Clark is looking out from, I don't know, the second floor of his barn and they've got a green screen effect going, it actually doesn't look that bad, although I bet that if they had shot it on high definition, maybe it would have looked worse. I don't know, but just, yeah, this was a really pleasant experience. I really can't, fault it for anything. It was just a real blast for me to watch this and experience its story, and I'm really looking forward to seeing more. Although, I think I should talk about the character of Lex Luthor in here, because, we're going to be gradually seeing his descent into, I don't really want to say madness, because Lex Luthor is not a crazy person by any stretch of the imagination. He might have crazy ambitions, as I think Gene Hackman did to his character a little bit in the Donner Lester movies, but we're going to see how he gradually turns evil, and I'm really looking forward to seeing how, he's going to have the friendship with Clark deteriorate, and then the eventual antagonism to Superman, or Superboy as he might be called in here. I don't know, because usually when the bits of the comics that I read were in Smallville, he was known as Superboy, so yeah. So that's going to be a real interesting angle to see what this guy's going to do. What else can I talk about? Well, one thing that I really liked about the real life issue here was how they did, the romance or bits of attraction here, because I've stated before that I'm not a big fan of love triangles, but here I think they did that pretty well, because there was never any true love triangle action going on here, because what I define as a love triangle is, well, you've got two people who are vying for the attention of a third individual. So even though you can argue that Whitney and Clark are both trying to vie for Lana's attention, you get the idea that Lana does consider Clark a friend, although it's hinted at that she might have feelings for him, but she does want her relationship with Whitney to work out, and Clark, even though he doesn't think that Whitney fully deserves Lana, realizes as the season goes along that Whitney is just an ordinary kid that does not make a good first impression and is arrogant at a good amount of times. I make a very terrible first impression, as I think I've said several times. Yeah, so, it wasn't a big deal this time, because there wasn't that much true conflict, and even when they introduced Chloe into the mix, by the time, she and confessed or Clark figured it out, it had been hinted at enough times that it really wasn't that big of a shock, and you know, it happens all the time. Just you're around somebody for a long time, and then one day you wake up, BAM! That's what happened to me and my second crush, as I think I mentioned in Buffy Season 2 vid, which reminds me I need to finish those things. Yeah. And just... yeah, this was an excellent show. I don't think there was a single bad actor in the bunch. And I also think that this show did an excellent job of having humorous moments despite the seriousness, although they really did kind of overuse the gag of characters disappearing without other characters noticing them a bit much. And it wasn't just Clark, because for instance, in the episode where Lana, was hypnotized by the flower, and then she causes Clark to fall into the pool, and then Principal Kwan walks in and is like, how did you not notice that Lana wasn't there? I mean, like, sure, some of this is just typical TV continuity bit that you just need to ignore, but I can't help but think that they overused that gag. And I was also impressed with how, when this season ended, that they were able to put, like 4 different storylines into the last episode, and it really didn't feel that clustered at all. Like, when we got to the cliffhanger, just nothing was resolved, leaving it off of Season 2. That's bold, if you're asking me, but it worked. Yeah. So, I'm definitely looking forward to watching the remaining seasons of this show, although I've heard that there comes a point in this show, I think at least halfway into it, that it starts dipping down in quality. We'll find out. I've got up to Season 7 of this show on DVD, so I'm going to, probably watch the whole thing and then try and figure out what the deal is with the comics, but I don't need to figure that out until I'm done with the show. See ya!